Hello, Goobers. It is time to play a new game, which is Tiny Bunny. But before we get into the game, a few things that I want to say. First of all, I've already played this game, and people who used to watch me back on Twitch when I was still streaming in Polish know that. And most of them seen that, but they only seen one version of the story. Plus, I don't have the recordings of doing that. So, and this is the series, one of the most hyped series that I found out through streaming. So I was thinking, you know, I need this series to be streamed on YouTube and have like saved streams for that, saved VODs. So I was like, let's go. And the other reason, the more important reason why we're playing it right now is because 5th of December, we're actually finally going to have the final chapter, which is chapter 5, because so far, as even now, we only have first 4 chapters, and 5th chapter is the entire finale of the game. So I'm extremely excited to just play it again and finish it for the first time. So yeah, that was a word of introduction. And now a word of warning. This game is 18 plus, so if by chance you have any fears or some topics are triggering you, there are all different kinds of topics that may be triggering to you, like child abuse. I don't know if I should say that out loud, but you know, like gore, a lot of like some jump scares. I don't think the story itself, like, it's like in a way of horror that usually the games are playing, which is mostly just throwing jump scares at you. This one is more in depth of a lore of something disturbing, something a little bit creepy, something unnatural, rather than just throwing all of the jump scares at you. Although there are a few jump scares from what I remember. But yeah, be warned. Yeah, minors out right now, please do it for your own good. I know it looks interesting. I know you probably seen worse shit, but honestly, I don't want it to have it on my conscience that you watched it because of me in here. So I gave my warning. Whatever you're going to do, well, I cannot entirely kick you out. I can just ban you from chat or whatever. So so yeah, that's basically it. The only thing triggering me is that I know more about music than my music teacher. Just a real truth. Events are okay. Yeah, just be wary, okay? Please be wary, because I know a lot of people have different sorts of limits when it comes to triggering topics. This one has them. It's weird, it's strange. The entire story revolves around minors. So for a minor to go through something like that, it can be scary. It's not like scary in a way of like Stranger Things. It's like a little bit above that. Okay, but without further ado, let's start, shall we? New game. Can I click it? Thank you. Furries in horror. Hi, Bartuś. Hi. Be wary, Bartuś. I know you're a small baby child, so it's a scary story, okay? It's 18 plus. And it's Russian. It's another jump scare for you guys. The wind clawed at my window all night long. It wandered the fields and howled like a hungry beast. An endless song weaved from all sorts of voices, shrill, gentle, sneery, twined in the air. They were shouting and laughing and arguing about something. Someone was running through the snow while casting long shadows that would occasionally creep close to my bed. Our house had a mind of its own, the creaky old mind of a building that had seen a lot in its days and was seemingly trying to share its wisdom with the inhabitants. You're not a child? Since when? You're like a baby. Cuckoo baby. The lonely house faced the forest, and the dark green thicket gazed back with its hollow eyes, rustling, whizzing, swaying back and forth. One could come out and stand at the edge of the forest to reassure themselves. There was nobody behind the crooked trees. Fuzzy silhouettes swaying in the wind couldn't possibly do any harm. It's just a play of light and shadow. Just a play. I knew it was just my imagination. I was already 12 after all. Still, Steel. Episode 1, The Owl Will Arrive. You're an irresponsible adult man, sure, if that makes you feel better. There we go, our two characters. Three first characters. I'm not going to read the dialogues of the characters because like they are literally saying it just in Russian. So you gotta read it on your own. Can I click something else? Oh, no, I can only hide my book. The cover of this game looks scary, it is. It is a scary game. I didn't protest and put the book about Conan the Barbarian aside. I was stuck on a line I couldn't understand after reading it 3 times anyway. Olya had already finished her breakfast and was munching on some cookies. She was so enthusiastic, she almost looked like your typical girl from commercials. You see, this is Olya. We have the first name. Remember it. We should remember the names, you know, like just in case. Well, this is the mother, as we already know. I, on the other hand, was still trying to drill a hole in the plate with my eyes, as if it would make the porridge disappear. Hazy anxiousness welled up inside, all because of the previous sleepless night, the black forest around our house, and the gloomy wind. The longer I waited, the colder the lumpy white substance became. It looked like a jellyfish from the Cousteau Odyssey. I love that show. I wonder how horrifying the bottom of the ocean is. Or how cold the black forest is at night. The spoon fell out of my hand. Mom showered me with a cold glare from her green eyes. Oh, come on! My spoon just fell! Don't be so dramatic, Mom! Oh, and now we are playing Anton. So, Anton is our protagonist, the one with the glasses. That's his sister, Olya, and that's his mother. Name not necessary. I had 10 seconds to catch my breath before bottling the nasty porridge once again. I felt around for the spoon. What is this carved on the other side of the table? Karina. Ha, that's my mom's name. Never mind, we got our mom's name, Karina. I guess she craved it out with something pointy when she was little. She sure was a rascal damaging the furniture like that. She would scold me for a week if I did something similar though. Should I remind her about it? No, she's been in a bit of a bad mood lately. I imagined her being my age, sitting under this table. I wonder what was Mom afraid of? Was Mom afraid of the dark back then? You thought her name was Mom? Nah. Or the sounds coming from the attic. Karina sounds like a bad girl name. Maybe she was a bad girl, you never know. Or the thick forest. I imagined my grandma coming into my little mom's room, sitting at the edge of her bed, where Olya sleeps nowadays, and saying this in her soft, smooth voice. So this is our grandma. Isn't it too... Wait, isn't it too quiet? Let's make it a little bit louder. I'll try to make it a little louder for you guys. Oh, I love the stories said by old people. Totally not creepy at all. Grandma's caring. She never fought with anybody, never yelled, never swore. Those were the times without the maddening screams until late at night, without smashed dishes and mutual accusations. Our parents used to love each other back then. I remember listening it on one of their conversations by chance. They were talking about Grandma getting prepared for her funeral. She had already bought a casket, and she called it her cute funeral box. You see, that's a positive way of passing away. Like, you don't call it a casket, you're saying, cute funeral box. It waited for its time in the closet patiently. It was black, upholstered with meat-colored material on the inside. I saw it when my grandma was getting buried. The house didn't change since the time she was alive. Only all of the photos were gone. Glass-covered pictures with grey faces of my ancestors. They all had a dead but watchful look in their eyes. I crawled out from under the table. Olya was done with her cookies and was looking at my shore like a sly woodland critter. I turned my gaze toward the frosted window. There were a lot of dark pines outside, but they didn't grab my attention. The pattern of frost formed a picture on the glass.
Оля, гляди, лиса!
It is a fox. Look, it has the eyes, the nose, the ears, and the overall shape of Fox's head.
Где?
Oh yeah, you dumb fuck, I just showed you. It looked almost like those optical illusion thingies they put on the back of students' notebooks. A mixture of lines at first glance, but if you blur your vision a little bit and look under a certain angle.
Да не на улице, на стекле. Смотри, вот нос, вот.
Ну-ка, доедай.
Oh my god, mother's back! Back to the food!
Да, да, сейчас. Я ничего не вижу.
Oh my god, Olya! And we're the ones wearing glasses, by the way.
Живо. Совсем немного осталось.
А, вот. Но все равно не похоже.
Olya has no imagination whatsoever.
А я говорю, похоже. Не-а.
Ня-а.
Похоже.
Прекратите. Ну что за дети?
Что за дети? The worst. Now I couldn't see the fox either. It disappeared. Went away. Only the frosty pattern, similar to stretched out nettle leaves, kept creeping up the glass. Oh no, the father came! Watch out! My dad entered the kitchen with long measured steps. I want to have a beard like this when I grow up. You sure? He kind of looks like a Giga Chat now that I look at him. Hi, Cincy. What am I playing? We're playing Tiny Bunny. It is a horror story, 18+ game, so if you're a minor or you're easily scared, because there are a lot of triggering topics rather than just jump scares, you're warned right now. He does look like a Giga Chad. The dude is literally a Giga Chat. He even has the pose of a Giga Chat. I'm pretty sure the Giga Chat was like a reference to the guy. Mom would always ask jokingly, come on, shave it off, it stinks. This was so long ago. So we can already set up the situation that they're in their grandma's house, where their mom used to grow up as a kid, but they have not been living there previously, from what you can assume. And yeah, the marriage used to be happy, but now they're mostly arguing. That was mentioned before, like Anton heard them arguing quite often. So, not the best family situation. That's why you can already think that like the whole horror around it is actually Anton kind of perceiving the situation around him through the trauma, you know? So that's one of the theories that comes to the mind immediately when the game starts. It's like anything that will be fictional will probably be just like an analogy of a kid trying to run away from a troubled household, something like that. But is that the realist truth, or is it just a red herring that is thrown our way so we can think this way? Is this game about divorce? We don't know. I don't know. I've played the 4 chapters 2 years ago or so, and I'm still not certain if we will be free to interpret the story the way we want. Or is there one truth behind it? We will know after the final chapter will be released. Okay. Continuing the game. Sorry, I'm just nerding out. I'm just so excited to get back to this game. Nowadays, rambling doors and witty comebacks were an everyday occurrence. Olya always covered her ears whenever she hears something like, "What's the point in all this?" through the wall. "It's all for your sake," Dad would reply. "For the sake of our family." I always caught every sound in fear of hearing the most dreaded, the deadliest word that starts with a D. It's not dick, it's divorce, guys, okay? D-I-V-O. I don't even want to finish it. It was scary to imagine that me and my little sister could be torn apart and taken into two different families.
Да что твоя лиса? Вот у меня на окне сова.
Some stories are metaphorical, with the monsters representing trauma and other issues. In other games, there is no metaphor. That is just a random flesh monster that wants to eat your face. Run. Yeah, and I feel like this game will either go with you can interpret it the way you want, or there will be two different endings, or maybe more, but like there will be significant difference between the endings of this is a real situation happening and the fantastical things are just a background thing to be a metaphor. But there can always be the, like, this is going into like mythological aspects with folklore got into it that is fantastical, and this fantasy is actually a part of this world. I'm not sure. I think the latest Silent Hill game does that. Yeah, Silent Hill F is like clearly portraying issues that the protagonist has with marriage, with losing yourself for the sake of others, or maintaining yourself but losing some people on the way. I think like the story behind Silent Hill is really fun when it comes to this aspect.
Опять ты со своей совой.
Oh my god, she likes them. We see fox, she sees owls. I mean, they live in a forest. It's not that unimaginable. Like, I don't know, like in summer, in my family garden, you can spot a lot of wild animals, even bats. I used to jog a lot at night in summer because it's like the best weather for me to jog. Once or twice, a bat hit my forehead. I swear. And I was like, at first I thought it was a bug, but I was like, it was too big. And then I noticed that like, the bats are flying occasionally. I'm like, holy shit. That's insane. And I thought I'm stupid. Like, I don't know. Like, I was making it up, but once I think one of the bats flew into my grandma's basement, and then I was like, okay, well, I guess the bats are there. Isn't COVID? Nah. Like, I got COVID by going to a store, not by being hit by a bat.
Так ты же вчера мне верил.
Никто ключи от машины не видел?
Yeah, the kids definitely took the keys.
Вроде оставлял на подоконнике.
Вроде. Вроде оставлял, вроде нет.
Okay.
Вроде взрослый мужчина, отец двоих детей.
Oh
вроде.
no, they're arguing again.
Перестань, пожалуйста, Карина. Дай мне спокойно собраться.
В корзине твои ключи, возле телефона.
Огромное тебе человеческое спасибо.
Oh no, oh thank you very much. No, you helped me after whining.
Антон, ешь быстрее, а то как мученик сидишь.
Maybe he's so hungry.
А сова?
Не было там никакой совы.
Была. Глазюки огромные. Во, и светятся.
Olya sprung up from the chair and placed her hands on her little face, imitating a pair of eyes with her fingers, size of an apple each.
В прошлом году бабай в шкафу, сейчас сова.
The babai. Oh, glossary. But oh, that's a fun thing. They, like, whenever they do something from, like, Russian culture, they put it in a glossary. Culture or history or just, like anything that, I don't know, someone outside of Russia wouldn't understand, they put it, so it's fun. Babai, in Slavic folklore, a nocturnal spirit used by parents to threaten their ill-behaving children. This is something that's also in Polish folklore, because like Slavic once again, but I think like we have a little bit of like different names on it, but yeah.
Но я же видела!
Olya shifted her gaze back and forth from dad to mom to me, but couldn't find any support.
А ты не думала подружиться с ней, нет? Вымышленными мышами покормить, например?
The dad is an asshole! He's not a gigachad! It's basically like making poor Olya feel bad. What the hell is wrong with him?
Не подначивай ребенка.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, I'm siding with mom for now. If they're getting a divorce, we're going with mom. Like, she's a little bit nagging, but dad is like a literal asshole.
Просто мала еще. И спать одна боится.
Olya putted her lips in rebellion and rushed into the hallway. The staircase that led to the second floor creaked. Mom gave dad a strict look. Oh, that look in her eyes. It's so uncomfortable to be pinned under it. Your classic mother look. Dad just snorted in reply and left, ringing with the keys he just found. A minute had passed, and the theme song from The Little Mermaid echoed through the house. It was stored on incredibly worn-out cassette tape, which Dad already had to glue together once. It's so easy to fix objects by gluing them back together, for example. But how do you fix a relationship? Anton is like, what, 12 years old, and he's already thinking about fixing relationships. He's going to be a psychologist in the future, just you wait, if he survives. That probably drives a BMW! I'm glad that she managed to, like, insert our Polish cultural reference to that. I'm proud of you. Or a tortured artist, yeah. Or that. Or that. Mom moved to the living room and I was left alone, anxiously stealing glances at the window. Olya had trouble sleeping ever since we moved to this house. By the way, I love the art style of this game. How they made it all black and white. How, like, it's just like, look at this shaky oil paint, like, designs. It's just, it's so good. It fits the aesthetic so well. She would toss and turn or curl up into a ball under her blanket. Sometimes she would jump up in the middle of the night and turn on the VCR. Cartoons helped to take her mind off all the troubles we had with the move and our parents. That was first jump scare, I'm sorry guys. And then Olya said she saw that giant flying monster outside her window. She became obsessed with it. Our parents did everything in their power. They tried every little trick to get rid of those ridiculous fears. Olya refused to sleep alone and didn't believe that the owl was just one of her nightmares. After last night, I was unsure what to make of my sister's words, what to think of it myself. Can nightmares be infectious? That night, I couldn't get a wink of sleep and ended up thinking of what to expect from my new school. There were a couple of days left before the beginning of the new term. My imagination drew long twisting hallways that led to a classroom full of kids. In the eyes of a child, something normal can become a monster. Darkness does that as well. Yeah. But also it can be real. And because like the thing is, it's like either you can read it as, oh, the kid is just imagining it. But the scariest thing is when it's real. And you know no one will believe you because you're a kid. And if you're a kid, they will be like, oh, well, it's just a nightmare, right? Which is even scarier, not to be trusted enough because you're just a kid. But all the students behind their desks were simply dark figures cut out using a template. Circular holes gaped in the middle of their faces and pairs of eyes blinked inside those holes. It was as if some completely different creatures were looking at me from behind the flat black silhouettes. It's actually funny, I did not remember that part, but have in mind, remember those like, how he describes it as like circular holes darkened so you cannot see their eyes. Like, remember that. Yeah, if you can't see a thing in darkness, it could be anything. Exactly. You never know. I mean, our eyes get used to the darkness at some point, but sometimes the darkness is so strong that you barely can see anything. Especially sleeping at the forest. I had the experience because my family lives in a forest. And when they still didn't have like the right lights out next to the forest, once I woke up, I couldn't see my own hand at night. Like, I couldn't. It was so freaking dark. Which is why I'm happy my grandfather gave me this sword cane. Sword cane is so badass though! I'm so jealous. That's creepy. Their cruel glars filled with icy sneers made me shiver from head to toe. Will I survive here? Won't they gang up on me and beat me down? Stomp on me with their bloodied shoes? The damn school can burn for all I care. I just wished for anything to happen to it. It doesn't really matter what. I didn't want to go there that badly. I didn't want to see people who are just itching to smack me on the head, trip me up, think of a new offensive name for me, worse than the previous one. I felt like the glasses I wore made me an outsider or some sort of a monster. My gaze slid across the drawings hanging on the walls. I couldn't consider myself a great artist, but Olya begged me to hang them. Drawing was the only thing that made me happy as of late. The small circle of friends I had also enjoyed my paintings, and they promised to call me from time to time. Sometimes I imagine Mom picking up the phone and saying in a cold voice, "You've got the wrong number," or "Anton is not around." Anton is not around. Because a lot of people live in the cities and we have so much light being pumped out, the night is far from dark. That's very much true. Simply due to how much light is reflected off the clouds. Exactly. I need to practice now. Maybe I'll come back if you stream a little longer. See ya. Bye, nerds. Enjoy your practice. But we'll be streaming for 4 hours for sure today. So there's a chance. I don't know how long you practice, but I feel like your hands need a little bit of a break after at least an hour or two. So there's a chance that we'll still be there. Also, yeah, the sword cane is awesome. The hilarious thing is that I didn't know it was a sword cane until a few years ago. Previously, it was just another one of his many walking sticks. You see, and it's a deadly weapon. I imagine my future classmates lying in their beds, just like me, listening to the howls of invisible werewolves outside their windows. Maybe my new classmates will like me after all. But who would ever like a boy with thick glasses? I mean, my dad used to wear glasses when he was little. And now he's married to the most beautiful woman on the planet, my mom. God, Anton, I hope you do not have mommy issues. The house creaked, pressed by the wind. The condo we used to live in, a 9-floor concrete building, buzzed with the neighbor's drill, mumbled with a TV set from behind the wall, cried like a baby from the big family next door. Thank you, Cincy. Have a nice day at work, and I hope it will pass quickly, nicely, enjoyable, so you could get back home and rest. Our current house, though I can't really call it new, was completely different. It was silent and easygoing during the day. Its shadows lay dormant in the corners, on the closet cobwebs, and under the stairs. They all woke up during the night. Something was watching me from every corner, almost as if the old photos of my deceased family with their ashen eyes were hanging on the walls in place of my drawings. The floor was squeaking. Rusty drains were moaning. The attic was occupied by noisy drafts. One could think that the house was performing some sort of demonic melody. And then I realized I was in fact hearing music. It was already playing for a good while. Somewhere at the edge of my perception, I could hear a flute. It was mixed in with the sound of the wind of the creaking old house and my thoughts too. I stood up and rushed to the window. I wanted to reassure myself that this music was nothing more than a product of my imagination. It's not Like someone is playing it there amidst the cold snowy night, right? Or is it? We don't see anything other than this window, so we gotta open it. I mean the curtains, not the window. Someone was dancing in the field. You see, this here is what you call a furricon. It's a natural occurrence in America, but may not be as popular in Russia, so we should not be surprised about Anton's shock. Someone was dancing in the field. Black silhouettes I could barely make out with the dark forest as their backdrop. They jumped around, basked in moonlight, bumped into piles of snow, rolled around and crawled on all fours. Stories about wolves playing under the moon came to mind, but these were clearly not wolves. They stood upright at times, circled around, holding hands and whipping up snow, disappearing into the shadows for a brief moment and then coming back. Something bizarre was going on. Shadows dancing in the starless abyss made my imagination go wild, making me anxious at the same time. Suddenly the music had stopped. Well, that awkward moment when you notice that someone is watching you. The dancing shadows froze in place and I could swear pierced me with their eyes. One of the silhouettes immediately parted from the bizarre shadow carnival and sprinted across the field with giant leaps. He's running. Oh my god, he's running. Oh loud, he's running! It glided on squeaky snow without leaving any prints until it was devoured by the pitch black shadow of my house, which became even darker and thicker. Furry gang? Ah, furry gang, alright. My heart was jumping around like the bird inside a cage. I hate it because I know there's going to be a jump scare, but I never remember when it is there. I shut the curtains with a swift motion and stepped back towards the bed. They saw me. A freezing torrent of fear washed over me. I stood in the middle of a perfectly dark room and listened to some unwanted guest move and scraped around, looking for an entrance. The sound moved to the right, then circled around the house. Now my guest should be at the front door. I jumped into the bed and covered myself with the blanket as if it could protect me. Of course it protects you, everyone knows that. Like, you cover yourself with a blanket, it's a safe space. The shackles of fear locked my muscles. I remembered the funeral, my grandma lying there, hands crossed on her chest, her facial features, sharp like that of a teen doll. Ants running up and down the legs of chairs that held my grandma's casket. I imagined those little creatures climbing up her head and pulling up her eyelids with their tiny legs. That's absolutely terrifying, Anton. Why did you think like that? Then her wrinkly eyeballs would once again move inside their sockets, and she'd be able to see her grandchildren. I was chanting the spell she taught me throughout the whole procedure. Oh my god! He was chanting the spell at the funeral. What is he, a fucking necromancer? I did not remember that part. And now lying under the blanket and listening to squeaks and howls, I was repeating the same words. Well, it's more of a prayer than a spell, but... Bizarre sounds has disappeared. It sounds more like something like an exorcist would say, you know? Like the kind of like, not a spell, but rather, I don't know, part of a holy text that should make the demons perish or something like that. So I like that as well because it gives like some of the kind of like religious beliefs. Not exactly like any Christian or anything like that, but mostly like folklore beliefs. I cautiously peeked out from under the blanket and saw curtains waving around like a hanged man. And then the night dosed me with a new portion of boiling terror. Sound scratched at my eardrums. In reality, something or someone were scratching at the front door, hurriedly clawing at wood, demanding to be let in. The door was shut. Dad had become very cautious recently, so he installed a sturdy lock. I remember him staring at the forest intently as he was looking for someone. I hugged my knees, placing my chin between them, and drilled the door with my eyes. It was so flimsy and weak before the might of darkness. Still Giga Chat, still in a Giga Chat pose. And then the doorknob twitched slightly. Then it turned halfway, once, twice, as if the person who tried to enter had no hands. The doorknob tilted once more and then started clicking violently. My jaw cramped from fear. My wet fingers clutched the blanket. The door creaked and opened. It's over, guys. We're done. Game over. The wind taunted me, moaning inside the thin drains. Now, you'll see. The door was wide open. The darkness writhed inside the carnivorous mouth of a doorway. It was as if the night itself was calling out to me, flapping its black wings and squeaking with rusty hinges. I was trembling, ensnared by the web of darkness that hung in the corners of my room, waiting for the one who weaved it to come out of the gaping black hole. My abdomen tightened and my chest rose up, ready to exhale a desperate scream. But before I was able to do anything, the darkness asked me, "It is just his sister." Oh my god. My sister's pale face protruded from the thick shadows. I almost screamed from relief.
Оля, я не сплю. Что случилось?
He's trying to be so casual. Olya frowned and stuck out her lower lip, a clear sign that she was about to cry. Sister couldn't open the door. Classic. Yeah.
Прогони ее, Тоша. Прогони, пожалуйста. Я так боюсь.
The fear that was tormenting me just a minute ago crawled away and hid somewhere in my stomach. I needed to calm Olya down.
Это был сон, глупая. Не пугайся. Сны не кусаются. Никто тебя не обидит.
Olya sobbed. She was trying her best to believe me. But was I sure myself?
У меня есть идея. Пойдем к тебе в комнату, видик посмотрим. Спящую красавицу, например. Тебе же нравится этот мультик? Почему у спящей красавицы принца у меня эта страшная птица?
Well, Sleeping Beauty also had a scary Maleficent that made her sleep and then, you know, make the entire castle sleep. So, you know what, Olya, maybe your Prince Charming just still haven't come to the story. That question took me by surprise.
Ладно, давай посмотрим Золушку.
My thoughts became tangled, fuzzy. What was that? What started me with its eyes while dancing feverishly under the moon? Darkness was clinging to the window and it couldn't be fooled by Grandma's old chants. It couldn't be satisfied with a feast of lard and long ashen hair.
Тоша, ты идешь? Да, сейчас.
Not me again! I hate it every single time. I played it like 4 times. 4 times! 4 times! Every single fucking time it gets me. And I see it! I know it's going to jump, but I'm too dumb to... whatever. I hate myself. That's why I didn't want to laugh at Olya and her owl in the morning. Oh, it was just a flashback of the previous night. Okay. Who could be visiting us here in the middle of nowhere? We don't know anyone around here. So persistent. I feel extremely unsettled just from a silly thought that our morning guests could have come from the woods. I could barely hear voices coming from the front door. My mind was urging me to hide. Wait. Oh, in the closet. Okay. I thought I skipped something, sorry. Couldn't come earlier? Don't worry, we just got the one jump scare which once again caught me, but other than that it's fine. We're still at the very beginning. Under the table. Behind the curtains where Olya always hides. I felt like kettlebells were tied to my feet, but still dragged them toward the hallway. A couple of policemen towered over me in the doorway. It smelled like frost and worry. How does worry smell? Whatever. My mom always winced and grumbled the moment she saw patrol cars. Worse than bandits. At the moment, though, she looked somewhat confused.
Здравствуйте.
The senior officer, who wore a grim expression, noted.
Тут мальчик вчера потерялся. Вовой зовут. Глянь, пожалуйста. Ты его не видел?
Okay, so we have a missing kid in the town with the name of Vova. Save that in your memory. The policeman held out a photograph to me. There was a ginger boy around the age of elementary school, pictured with a wall carpet as the backdrop. He had the striped cat in his hands and wore a wide smile. Well, if he was ginger, I assume he did not survive for too long. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That's a serious matter. A kid is missing. No time for jokes.
Где мне его видеть? Я тут никого не знаю. Да и из дома-то почти не выхожу.
А может, видел в окно?
Да. У тебя ведь окна на лес.
The window. Volvo missing in Russian. Yeah, noted down.
Ясно.
Sounded tired by his eyes. His stare, long and heavy, was full of suspicion. I squirmed unwittingly under the weight of guilt which his giant shadow cast over me. The policeman finally tore his eyes from me and glanced over the hallway, the stairway and the cracks in the ceiling, which I haven't noticed before for some reason.
Вы, кстати, как на новом месте? Попривыкли уже?
Понемногу. Только вот дочка маленькая по городу скучает.
Скучает, значит. Из местных вас никто не беспокоит?
Все хорошо, спасибо.
What I like about this story is it's very layered to the point, like, first of all, we have the whole setup of the family moving to a new place. Clearly they're thinking about divorce, or maybe like, well, at least Anton is assuming that there could be like some kind of divorce happening. And then so we have trauma around that. Then you have like the supernatural things happening, like the folklore things, something that only children see so far. But then we also have the case of missing children, which is like three things that can so very well connect to each other, but you never know because of that, like what part of it is just trauma, what part of it is like true crime, and what part of it may be something fantastical, something otherworldly happening. That's what made me like this game so much, that you can, like, you cannot pinpoint what is real, what is not, and what is just perceived by a kid through this kind of visuals. So I am very much excited to see where it's going to go. The policeman pierced through me one more time with his brown eyes, my head starting spinning.
Может, вам помочь как-то?
I asked that in a shaky voice to look like a polite boy and to end this unpleasant conversation sooner.
Я вот стою и думаю, ты, малец, на племеша моего похож. Шустрый парнишка твоих лет, с такими же окулярами. Все книжками зачитывался, детективами.
Yeah, it's like I always like when the quote goes like, "Oh, you look just like my nephew" or something, and then it's like, if they showed you the picture, you would look nothing alike. But there's like one thing that reminds them of that person. It's so much of bullshit.
Когда летом погостить приезжал, говорит, что в школу милиции мечтает поступить. Как я, хотел людям помогать. Смекаешь?
I felt uncomfortable, as if a distant relative and not a police officer stood before me.
Ох, ребятушки, сидите-ка вы лучше дома. Не ввязывайтесь ни во что. Жизнь сейчас совсем другая пошла.
Mom interjected in a cold voice.
Мне ли не знать?
Ну да ладно. Ты, Антон, в каком классе учишься?
В 6-м.
6th grade is like how much old? I said he's 12, but I would say it's like more, like he's older. 14? No. Or maybe 3rd? Wait, I don't know.
Друзей-то на новом месте еще не завел?
Haven't been to school yet, bro.
Пока нет. Я
Oh,
только
yeah.
после каникул в школу пойду.
Тогда вот вам на всякий случай мой номер. Звоните, если узнаете что.
Policemen were gone along with their shadows, the smell of cheap cologne and the photo of a smiling boy. His face still stood before my eyes. I wondered what it was like for him being all alone there. For some reason I thought of the forest swaying in the wind. What did his poor parents feel? And what would my parents do if I'd gone missing? Would they cry and thrash around hysterically? Or would they accuse each other like they always do and forget about me eventually?
Мам, а Вова этот в нашем лесу заблудился?
Выходит, что так. Бедный ребенок.
I looked out the window at the road. The police UAZ drove off toward the village. Okay, let's UAZ. What the fuck is that? A Soviet and Russian off-road freight passenger car brand which was produced on the Ulyanovsk car factory. Okay, so just like old car. Hi, Sammy. Hello, Sammy Miami. The officer's nephew came to mind when I was splitting off old paint from the windowsill. I remembered all the teenage mystery novels from the Black Kitty series I've read this summer. Goddammit, Black Kitty. What is Black Kitty? A series of contemporary Russian original or translated teen mystery books. Okay, now we know. Your average boys and girls investigated all sorts of mysteries there. They looked for clues, spied on suspicious people. I used to read a lot of books like these as well, like kid crime books, because like usually it's like kid crime books are like Scooby-Doo cases. Like you feel like it's not that serious, but it was fun for a kid to read. Definitely better if like I don't know, the adult gave you like Millennium books and you'll be like traumatized for the rest of your life. And after a set of amazing adventures, bam, solved any complicated case. They became local celebrities and must have made their parents very proud. I noticed a trail of policemen's footprints that led to the forest. And then it clicked in my head. Why don't I start an investigation of my own? Well, I will unclick your head, Anton, and tell you this is the dumbest idea that you could come up with. Maybe I'll find that lost boy, and I'll get a reward. Olya will be so happy. And not only Olya, Mom and Dad too. Maybe they'll even forget about their quarrels for a while. You see, this kid is just like wanting to solve so many issues at once. Trying so hard that he excuses his dumb idea that, yeah, it's like the best idea he has ever had. Better not look for kid crime books, they could be traumatic. Yeah. Maybe I'll even save us from the D word. I fantasized about buying Olya a Tamagotchi and getting a cassette player and a bunch of tapes for myself. And a whole box of Kinder Surprise. When was the last time our parents bought us any toys? Last autumn, I think. My dad has lost his job at the time. There's that annoying song about it. Which song? Accountant. Sung by an all-female Soviet pop band by the name of Kombinatsiya that became wildly popular in the early 90s. Okay. I had little to no idea what was the accountant's job like. They count money, I think? Neighbors used to envy us. Nowadays, Mom and Dad barely had money to afford sweets, and Dad would always divide a single chocolate bar between me and Olya. Sometimes I gave her my share too. He's a good brother, at least. Turn up the music a little. The problem is, like, right now it's quieter, but I can turn it up. Let me know if it's not too loud, though, because I feel like at some point it was a little bit too loud, but... Or tell me if, like... Oh, wait. Settings. Let's... What's... Oh. Sorry, my phone is like... I think the voices should be a little bit louder. Especially, like, when I'm not reading their... Okay. Oh, shit! No, I didn't want... I thought... Okay, I'm stupid, okay. I'm kind of stupid. Okay. Okay. Let me know, then I'll be able to quiet it down in my OBS, I think. No matter how much I wanted to eat sweets, she was still just a pipsqueak. A little less. Okay, okie dokes. It's now good? Couldn't wait to go out looking for clues.
Пойду погуляю.
Ага, сейчас. Чтобы потом милиционеры с твоей фотографией по домам ходили. Лес вон какой густой. А если мальчика звери дикие утащили? Или того хуже?
Is it too bad now? Is it too loud? Now it will be too loud. God fucking damn it. Wait. It's fine. We're lowering it. Even worse, echoed through the hallway.
Я рядом буду. В лес не пойду.
Is now good? Now we don't have any music though.
Что я тебе сказала? Мне дважды повторять.
Just in case.
Лучше портфель собери или соли поиграй.
The sound of splashing water came from the kitchen. It meant that the argument was over and Mom had the last word. Okay. If anything, just let me know. Okay, now this is the part where we're starting the game technically. So we have this little thingy. This cross had seen so many people come and go in this house. It was black, as if it absorbed all human seen from the long years it was hanging under the ceiling. After Grandma died, Mom was going to take it off and hang a horseshoe in its place as a lucky charm, but she cut herself with the cross's sharp corner and almost fell from the stepladder. Dad called it a sign from above and ordered the cross to be left alone in its rightful place. I think it would have been like a big mistake to you know, do that. My parents prohibit me from making long-distance calls, but from time to time I really want to hear my old friends. Sometimes I would just pick up the phone, listen to the low hum of the zoomer and the distant crackling, imagining the wind howling in the ice-leaden courts. Okay, we have this thingy. Mom's backed up, a family relic. My mom played with it when she was little, then she gifted it to me. Olya was next in the succession line. The toy belonged to her now. She stared at the dancing spindle as if it could show her something. A fairy tale, or maybe even our future. Now, even my little sister was a bit too old for the old squeaky packed up. I guess it's like kind of a boring toy, isn't it? The dark stuffy closet. Mom says it smells like mice, but how would she know their smell? She hates when I stick my nose in there. She's afraid I'll cut myself on the freshly sharpened axe. And Olya can't even be lured close to it. She thinks Baba is living there. Oh, if Baba is living there, then he wouldn't be that scary because, like, you know, it's not too much of a place in space, so it would have to be much smaller. The music got cut off. What do you mean the music got cut off? You're so conflicted about this character now. Why are you conflicted about this character? I tried to help her fight her fears once. I opened the door and turned on a dim lamp so she would see there was nothing but cobwebs, dust stools, and scratched walls. The scratched walls is kind of like suspicious because like I can feel like the scratched walls are all the way up there. So it doesn't feel like a mice would do that. She still didn't believe me. And I like to hide in a closet and listen to Olya count outside. 1, 2, 3, better hide from me. And then drag her feet on the creaking floorboards, hoping that she wouldn't need to look for me in the cramped monster's den. Earlier, now it's playing. Oh, okay. Let's go to the kitchen. The side of an old ocean freezer was checkered with my childish drawings, Mom's recipes, and all kinds of stickers from bubblegum with dinosaurs that Olya liked so much. Oh yeah, there are dinosaurs. That's right. Among that still life picture hung a piece of rolled paper with the phone number of the police officer who visited us. Dude, he has such a childish writing, bro, like he writes like a kid in primary school. This is how I used to write. Mice could walk on walls. But could they like walk and scratch that hard? I don't know. Maybe. First Lieutenant Tikhonov, I read inside my mind, looking at the officer's sprawling handwriting. A scrap of paper was held by 2 pieces of a broken magnet from some old Soviet toy, and those pieces just barely covered up the numbers, as if to taunt me. I leaned toward it to unveil the mystery and take the pieces to a safer place where it would wait for its time, when I would finally find Vova and be the first to call the police with the happy news.
Антон,
Mom's reproachful eyes started me.
зачем тебе? Не трогай, потеряешь же.
Okay, jeez. Oh. Angering my mom was the last thing I wanted, so I lowered my hand. I took a peek at Mom's crossword. She would get very angry when someone gave her advice, so me and Dad faked knowing the answer and being about to reveal it at all the time. I smiled at the fleeting thought. Vertical, 9-letter, the name of the Philistine deity that protected them from viper bites and had a nickname, the Lord of Flies. Second letter is E. I have not read the Lord of Flies, so I don't know that. Okay, let's do this. The decrypt and stain-covered calendar was once my favorite form of entertainment in Grandma's house. It used to be my cousin's favorite entertainment as well. Like when we went to Grandma's kitchen and like we saw that it's still like not torn off. We always ask if we can tear it off because it's a new day. Or there was like another calendar that you slid the thing over. We also did that. I don't know. Kids find the stupidest thing the most entertaining, hey? I remember waking up and running to the kitchen so I could tear off yesterday's sleeve first thing in the morning, as if the coming day would get lost in the taiga forest without my help. One day closer to New Year's, one day closer to Grandma's funeral. That's why I told you it's like the best horror to play during like winter, and I was like almost certainly sure that they're going to release the final chapter around Christmas, because like the vibe is here. It's perfect for people to play during winter. So I'm not even surprised they didn't do it on Halloween. They didn't like put it in Halloween, but they waited for a little bit later. Epic. I haven't touched this calendar for years now, since the time they started writing dark and spooky death chants that only made me gloomy instead of funny proverbs and superstitions, to be exact. I grabbed a dusty calendar leaf with caution, and it tore off effortlessly. Sadly, the spooky descriptions from my childhood were still there. 7 horses carry the log. If 7 can't carry, bring the 8th from a fairy. They will take it away and never come back. This is the fate the log cannot escape. I crumpled the grey leaf and threw it into the waste bin, hoping to get rid of the anxiousness that washed over me. It was spreading inside me like an ink stain on blotting paper. I cannot. Wait. I'll just... Important. Okay. My family has perfect timing to call me in the middle of my streams. Okay. Emercom of Russia has declared a state of emergency due to adverse weather conditions. Okay, oh, well, they kind of reading that, sorry. If I remember correctly...
Машина, в которой он находился, была обстреляна неизвестными вооруженными лицами.
Куплю жене сапоги.
Это просто, Леня. АО ММС.
What a vibe. If we clicked it once again... Or maybe we have to click it after she leaves? No. This chant. Hello, Manface. This chant that was just done it will be appearing later on in the story. So yeah. Okay, we can lie to the mother. No.
Мам, там что-то с телевизором случилось. Картинка какая-то тусклая, и экран весь в полосах.
Mom's face became visibly distorted.
Без ножа меня режешь. Дострелялся в уток своих. Говорила же, посадите мне кинескоп своей приставкой.
God damn it, it's not because of the console, ma'am!
Где мы теперь мастера найдем в дыре этой, а?
Может быть, просто настройки сбились? Сходи, посмотри, пожалуйста.
Нормально же работал с утра.
Из-за снегопада, наверное, неполадки.
Mom rubbed her hands clean on her apron and went to Olya's room. Okay, give me that. We're taking that for ourselves. Thank you very much. And I think that was everything that we could go there, so... Oh wait, we didn't open the fridge. There's no time for this. Mom will come back soon. Oh fuck, I didn't open the fridge. Fuck. I'm sorry, guys. I forgot about the fridge. I got so excited about the radio. I opened the front gate and went into the field, carefully so Mom wouldn't see me from the window. When I crossed half of the distance toward the forest, the snow piles became as high as my knees. I remembered my nightly fears. I saw those silhouettes around here. They were jumping around holding hands. Hypnotizing music started playing in my head all on its own. In the light of day, those distant figures felt like a simple dream. The sun turned my nightmares to ash, but the aftertaste was still there, distant ringing in my ears, distorted shadows crawling on the snow alongside me, and a barely audible whisper in my head, blurry and almost kind. Everything was silent. So silent I felt like the world was totally empty. No ground, no sky, no parents, no Olya. The time reached its limit, a one-way trip that ended at the forest's pink, piney stockade. Sometimes silence was much scarier than any scream. Our parents would scream at each other while arguing, and both me and Olya turned to stone listening to them. But then always came the ringing silence. Our apartment became numb a couple of days before we departed. Oh my god, this is so fucking creepy. There were smiles? Oh god, no. No thank you. It was hard to remember the last time Mom and Dad joked around, laughing, or spent time together, almost like all of it was in a previous life. When they kissed with Olya present, she always frowned and snorted in a funny way. But one day it all changed. Something important had left our home, and something scary filled the remaining void. It was as if a fire broke out, and our parents were hurriedly packing our belongings, trying to save themselves and us. From who, though? From the people with dead cold eyes who sometimes visited us in our previous home? The eyes that only saw balls of worms on the black ground in everything. And somewhere far away a siren was going off, trying to warn us of the coming menace. That's also interesting, like I never understood this part. It's like, as if something did happen in the previous town that they lived in the city they lived in. So this is something more happening, so maybe Dad is the murderer. Who knows? No, I'm joking. And here we go, the sports hat! I missed it. Finance MVP. I shuddered, chasing away my delusions and looked around. There were only me, this white field, and the wind that was whipping up icy dust and belts of powdered snow. I squinted from the sun and turned my eyes to the sunless forest. It looked especially dark in contrast with the blinding whiteness. Knobby tree roots slithered under the snow like fat snakes. Rotten leaves and coniferous needles rose into the ice. Dry, prickly branches intertwined, bringing up uncomfortable thoughts about fences. Were they protecting the forest? Or were they keeping something from breaking out? Some object was hanging from one of the pointed branches. It's just me and the glove. Anton versus the glove. I tried to get closer, drowning in snow, and when I almost got to the edge of the forest, I saw a knitted mitten. It looked like a wounded bird among the hungering semi-dog. Should I take it to the police? He should. He actually should. He really should. It would help with the investigation. So holding it and not showing it to the police is literally illegal because it is disturbing the case-solving process. But Anton is a 6th grader and he will not think about it. Their senior officer looked gloomy, but he still reminded me of Captain Casanova from my favorite TV show called The Streets of Broken Lights. Give me glossary. A Russian mystery TV series telling a story of the daily life of Russian police officers. It's the longest running series in the history of Russian TV at the moment. So it's still coming out? He was also always anxious, with a tired look in his eyes, but still brave and strong. Will this mitten help them find the lost boy? Vova! I heard a distant shout. Looked like it came from the river. Vova! As if the trees were calling out to someone. Vova. Which sounded closer to me. Someone was standing there behind the trees, hiding. Vova. Oh, maybe here. Or oh, here! You know what? I've never seen it before, but yeah, that's the... Dude, there is a fox mask in here. I was always like, I don't see shit. Every single time I played it, I was looking closely, and finally I see it. It's here. Oh my god. After years of I finally found it. Oh god, I'm so bad at find the clues or something. I knew someone was looking for the lost boy, but still, something was unsettling about that figure. Its stillness, how it was bent unnaturally toward the ground. Is it bent naturally toward the ground? Wouldn't say so. It's blackness. There's no one there, just branches and roots. It's all just my imagination. I don't think so. A nearby bird flapped its wings loudly. The shadows lit from the tree and disappeared from my side. I looked away for just a moment, but when I turned my gaze back to the same place, it was gone. So it was my imagination after all. Silence reigned for a painfully long time. Well, let's get that glove, shall we? It's just... No, it's still there. Or am I going insane? No, this is a Now I don't know anymore. Maybe I'm stupid. Maybe it was somewhere in here and not there, but still say it! I don't know, man. My muscles were tightly sprung. My heart was beating somewhere in my throat. And a noise and a little movement and a small whisper from the thicket, and I'd sprint. But nothing of the sort happened. I looked at the mitten once more. We're taking it. Fuck that. We're taking it. I decided to take the lonely mitten from the branch. Well, something is running there. Vova! A shot rumbled across the field and dissolved into the distance. No echo, no hope for a reply. Is it not too loud now, though? Can I stepped toward the bristly trees and tried to claim my find. It didn't budge. I pulled harder, the branch cracked and the mitten torn off, landing in my hand with a squishy sound. All too heavy, wet. I squeezed it without thinking and something dark spilled from it, forming a tiny string between the mitten and the snow. Steam rose from the snow pile. I froze in place, studying my palms in disgust. Red. The sound of cracking branches invited the silence. I didn't have to think twice before running away. Run, Anton, run! Someone was chasing me from the darkness, breaking pine branches, closing the distance with giant leaps. The snow was falling down, slowing me down. Crazy thoughts flew through my mind. I'll get caught. They'll get me. I'll get dragged into the thicket. I'll be gone forever. But there was one more voice, probably one of reason. It gave me strength, spurred on me. It's good match if you're also a little louder there. Okay, I'll try my best. You can do it, don't stop! I heard an animal roar behind me. It was so loud, my ears went numb. It felt like the sound had come from a pack of hungry beasts rather than a single one. Their nostrils sucked in freezing air. They sensed my fear. Two giant wings flapped above my head. An enormous shadow flew over the clearing, a hoot, a wheeze. The roars were coming from all directions now, from the dried up raspberry bush, from twisted pines, from under the windfall. Hurry, run, don't look back. It felt like I was inside a nightmare. The snowy clearing became vicious like quicksand. I was stuck in place. I pulled my leg from the mushy trap just to be caught in a new one, even deeper than before. I continued to drown, sinking deeper and deeper with every desperate push. Was snow ever this sticky? I screamed in horror after realizing this wasn't snow. Someone or something in the snow pile was clutching my pants. I gathered my strength and rushed forward. The pressure on my leg was gone, my boots slipped out of the hole and my soles were on a hard surface again. I reached a clear path with one jump and from there, ran to my house. Its gloomy facade didn't look threatening now. That house was my line of defense from the shadows that flapped their wings and their creatures that were hidden under the snow. I tripped over the doorstep and smashed into the door. In all my hurry, I still managed to notice the claw marks, as if a dog was striking the wood with its paws, demanding to be let in so it could escape the cold. I hadn't noticed these marks when I was leaving. The heartbeat in my ears was much louder than my surroundings. I couldn't hear whether someone was following me or not. What if they were already in our front yard and Mom had locked me in the door? Drowning in fear, I pulled out the doorknob and it obediently gave way. I rolled into the hallway and shut the door behind me. Porch planks creaked as my pursuers ascended the stairs. My fingers slipped off the lock and I couldn't click it into place. I gritted my teeth and pulled hard on the iron knob, whipping it between the boards. I stared blankly at the door. Someone was standing on the other side of the pitfall, flimsy barrier that was probably less useful than blankets. Whizzing breath reached into the house and crashed at me in waves. It smelled of pine and sweat. Safe? You see, that's a funny thing, like, you know, like you think your house is a safe place and usually like the horror likes to break it, but not at the very beginning. So right now we still think of it as a safe place and we still have like this cross, which is like a religious memento, a religious sign. So maybe it's not the door that's stopping the creatures, but it's the cross actually. We good now? Friendly location? Yeah, sure. We're so good now. Mom picked out of the kitchen and chastised me with the same frigid voice she always used when talking to Dad. Well, we were being chased, okay, mother dearest?
Я случайно.
I snuck a glance at the door. The smell was gone, and the breath was too. If there was someone in the first place, of course. Here, mere 5 meters away from Mom, my fear was slowly weakening, melting like snow in spring, and with it the last bit of strength I had left my body too. My legs gave way. I propped myself up against the wall so I wouldn't fall over. It deceives children's brains so accurately. I love the concept of home equals safety. Yeah, but it's not even like only children. Adults, in a moment of panic, they will think the same way, right? But like the only thing that like takes me away from like good child deception is the way the narration is written down. Everything that I read, it feels too mature. But at the same time, yeah, it's me reading that. So I guess to make it more like, because if they were to write it as if child thinking, all of that, I feel like it would be too stupid sounding and you couldn't like get immersed within the story, so I can excuse that. But yeah, I think like it's like you can feel like Anthony's a child. He's doing like a childish mistakes. He's like, because if it was an adult doing the same things, he would be like, you're so fucking stupid, right? If it's Anton doing like a 6th grader, it makes sense. So yeah. Mom's expression had changed immediately. The cold mask of strictness and detachment was gone. Mom looked the same as before all those quarrels. She finally saw my condition, my wet pants plastered with snow.
Ты где был? Я тебе что говорила, а? Чтобы ты дома сидел. Я и для тебя пустое место.
Oh my god, please don't trauma dump us, Mom. I got afraid she would cry. I reached out to her like when I was very little and wanted her to cuddle me. But Mom regained her composure fast and put on her usual face. Her eyes shined like steel. Her voice rang
У
out.
отца сигареты пропали. Признавайся, ты их стащил? Курить бегаешь?
I think that maybe something, at least from Mother's side, makes her not want to be that, like, because like right now she could have hugged him, but she didn't. So maybe there's a reason why she's not doing that. Now that I'm thinking about it, like maybe those creatures, which would be stupid, right? Like like maybe the creatures don't get interested if you like don't have like good relationship with your parents, but that would be so fucking stupid. But I wonder.
Там за мной
I don't know. It's just a
гнался.
weird thing for her to be like suddenly changing, like from caring to so stern. I stuttered as soon as I started explaining myself. Tears welled up in my eyes. Mom leaned toward me and sniffed my clothes like a beast searching for the smell of tobaccos. Then she squinted her eyes in suspicion and looked into the front yard. Her expression changed in an instant and she covered her mouth with her hand.
Гляди, вон же они. Прямо у забора.
My heart started thumping as if I became prey once again and my pursuers were following me in the field. I could swear that I've heard something scratch at the door, just like in my nightmare. Mom beckoned me with her finger and I gathered all my remaining bravery to look into the kitchen window facing my fear. I could barely discern some hairy silhouettes swimming in snow through the city, through the icy winter patterns on the glass. Dogs. Just a small pack of strays with no name and owner, barely reminding of the hungry monsters that live on the edge of the forest.
Божечки, ты их испугался? Да они сами
I don't
тебя
know, like the
перепугаются.
dogs, the wild dogs in the pack can be quite ruthless. I wouldn't laugh at
Они
that.
гнались за мной, словно за зайцем.
Like a bunny! We have a bunny reference!
А вдруг они бешеные?
Exactly, what if they're rabbit? Like, the mother is not taking things seriously. Anton is taking things more seriously. The smile had slowly disappeared from Mom's face. Now she looked at the dogs as if it was her first time seeing them.
Что если они нападут на Олю?
Мам,
Вот бы твой отец их всех перестрелял.
мама, они живые.
А что? Ты уж определись, они тебе друзья или враги? Не маленький ведь уже.
I don't know, the mom is so emotionally unstable that it's very hard to read her. Mom sighed in annoyance and I felt so bitter. As if maybe, I don't know, she's possessed, like quite literally. That's why like the real mother is somewhere out there. But then again, like if she's possessed, how the cross didn't want to leave her. That would be, but that would explain why she wanted to take down the cross and put something else in there, because she is possessed. Because she, like, that's, like, disturbing her, and this is her sometimes coming back to her senses. But that's just, like, a theory, a game theory, okay? Like, I'm just thinking, I'm having thoughts, and I'm letting them out. I don't think that's going to happen, but, hello, Foyden. But I think that I may be onto something in here, you know? I may be onto something. We don't know much about parents. We just know that they left the city, father lost a job, apparently, well, he still has to have one if he left the house with the car. This is their mother's hometown. So maybe something. Well, I don't know. I don't know. Mom sighed in annoyance, and I felt so bitter that I bit my lower lip and fixed my gaze on the cobweb-ridden corner just to keep myself from crying. Well, some detective I am. In reality, I wasn't risking my life among monsters, but rather my pants among a pack of stupid strays. And what for? What use do I have for this? Mitten. Of course! A dark and sticky mitten that belonged to the lost boy made a squishy sound in my hand. Seems like I was clutching it the whole time. That's my trump card as a detective. I heard to present this clue to my mom.
Мам, смотри, это Вовина варежка. Ну того, про которого утром милиция
I
спрашивала.
forgot that he showed it to his
Она
mom.
вся в крови, на дереве висела. Вон там, могу показать. Давай в милицию скорее позвоним, как нас участковый просил. Мам, гляди!
Фу!
You! A shadow of doubt slowly crept onto Mom's contorted face. As if she was trying to remember something distant. Like someone tries to remember their dream, but the images slip away.
А ну-ка прекрати сейчас же.
You see, I told you, like she has like those moments where she's like being sensible, but then suddenly snap and she's once again being a bitch.
Оля тебя услышит, с ума сойдет. Она и так не спит, на все подряд жалуется. Еще и ты со своими шуточками.
That moment I realized the mitten was actually wet from snow. There was no blood whatsoever. I wanted to sink through the floor from embarrassment. Yeah, okay, so maybe the blob was like a little bit of an exaggeration, but a lost mitten in the forest, it still could be a hint. So for the mother not to take it seriously, like, hey, maybe we should actually call the police and say, like, oh, we found a mitten. Maybe the parents will say if it's the Vova's mitten or not. That's a stupid thing.
Иди сюда, паникер. Да не стой столбом. Вот, таблетку на.
And the peels! Oh my god, forgot about the peels. Because like there's a whole theory that it's all because of the peels, right? There are so many elements that I feel like are red herrings that they want us to think, oh, it's because of that, it's because of this. And in the end, it's not really. So I don't know. Oh my god, I forgot how many elements this story has. A golden colored peel, reminiscent of a dead wasp, fell onto my
Я
palm.
уже пил сегодня, за завтраком.
Попререкайся мне еще. Сказала дома сидеть, нет же. Был бы отец, выпорол. Сейчас же выпей, а то ночью не уснешь. Тебе ведь в школу завтра.
So I had to swallow the bitter medication, drinking it down with similarly awful water that gave off a taste of chlorine. Maybe it wasn't Vova's mitten. Maybe it wasn't a mitten at all. Just like the forest monsters and Olya's owl. Am I going mad? What's happening to me? Either the pill had an immediate effect or my overexerted brain didn't let the fear inside anymore. Serenity washed over me, bringing yawning indifference along with it.
Антон, выпил? Можешь, если захочешь.
Everything in Russia can make you a psych. That's very much true.
Раздевайся. Уснул, что ли?
Нет, мам, просто задумался.
Интересно, о чем же?
Так, глупости всякие.
Mom scrutinized me with suspicious eyes, as if she wasn't sure she was looking at her own son and not some doppelganger that came from the forest.
Точно все нормально? У тебя такое лицо было, когда милиционер про окно спросил.
Все нормально, мам.
She heaved a deep sigh.
Хорошо.
It seemed like the house had changed. The sofa's fabric had become discolored. Fingerprints appeared on the bathroom tiles. The light bulbs also felt different, dimmer and yellower. Even the saliva inside my mouth had a different taste. A melody from Aladdin could be heard from the upper floor. Olya was done rewatching her favorite Little Mermaid episodes and switched to other tapes. I slowly changed into my home clothes, stopped before the sink and studied my reflection in the mirror, like I was trying to solve one of those spot the difference puzzles. Then I went upstairs. Jafar's and Yago's voices died down. I walked past Olya's bedroom and slipped into my own. Okay, let's check the thingy dingies, right? Let's check the thingy dingies. He likes Michael Jackson. Nice. Monsters, Ghosts, UFOs, and the Encyclopedia of Paranormal Phenomenon from Rossmann Publishing. I have learned about the Loch Ness Monster, Medusa, Gorgon, and Bigfoot from there. Olya is always scared of the book. She could barely handle sifting through the monster and alien sections with me, but the middle part where they start to talk about ghosts really freaked her out. Dude is like Okarun, but Russian. Hello, Dipper. I even remember hunting ghosts after I would read that book. I measured the distance between items on my table every evening and checked if they moved due to some supernatural force. Come the morning, they didn't. But to be honest, what was I expecting? To meet Casper the Ghost? We have like a dino. My Triceratops figurine. I know about all sorts of dinosaurs, velociraptors, afrovenators, Hypsilodontus. I remember going to the movies to see Jurassic Park back when we still lived in the city and taking pictures with the T-Rex in the hall. It turned its head and roared. It was awesome. And next to it was a robotic transformer. I love this cartoon. When a jet fighter speeds up in the intro among the sounds of blaster fire, you know your next 20 minutes will surely be amazing. Zentredi space station is captured. Rick, get ready for battle. Okay, bro. Whatever. I've dreamt of becoming an artist since Dad bought me my first comic book. Fly magazine was the coolest. I especially liked the big space-related edition with alien monsters and that funny episode about gendarme. Okay, what is fun? Fly, sorry. Fly. The first Soviet... What is fun? That's a very deep question, I know. Fly. The first Soviet and Russian periodic adult comics and magazine. Well, good job, Dad. You gave your kids something for adults. It's like with my dad, who let my sister watch Princess Mononoke when she was 3 years old. Fantastic idea. Extremely popular during the crazy 90s. What made the magazine stand out was the refusal to use material from its foreign counterparts. I started drawing all kinds of stuff since that day, and I seem to be getting pretty good at it. One of my letters even got published in Fly once. Maybe someday they'll publish my comic. Wait, what do you mean your letters? It's like an adult magazine and they accepted a letter from a kid? I would look into this whole magazine thingy. Suspicious. Maybe that's why they were running away from the... Oh Jesus, I didn't notice her before. Oh my god, I was so focused. Like, you don't see it, but there's like her slippers on the on the bottom. I just noticed. Fuck that. The forest didn't look as grim during the day. Entangled tree branches in the distance and the snowy field between our house and the forest brought sleepiness to my eyes. But sometimes I would still catch myself looking in the window at the icy treetops instead of doing my homework. How strange. I remember moving this curtain. Okay, well, we're just going to ignore that. Okay, I see. Let's open it. One of the drawers was empty. I hid the policeman's phone number along with the mitten there. This is our shelf with clues. The simple action drained the last bit of strength from me. I sat on the bed. And only then I noticed there was someone behind the curtains. My tired hand dropped into the sheets. Whether it was due to medication I took or the stress I underwent, the room began to concord as if the wind was blowing the walls out like a pair of sails. The corners of the room bent and undulated. The only stable thing in the whole room was the figure between the windowsill and the curtains. A flimsy piece of cloth was stuck to my hidden visitor. It reminded me of burial sheets. Who else would be standing there? I stood up and licked my dried up lips.
Очень смешно.
The silhouette was unmoving. It was enveloped softly by the curtains, as if there was a thick layer of darkness there and not a human being. I reached toward the curtains. Badum, badum, beat my heart, controlled by medication. The wind sang in the field with a chorus of voices. For a second I wanted to return to bed, just lie down and watch the person behind the curtain, knowing full well they were looking back at me. They were looking without blinking, waiting for me to fall asleep. Plastic rings rustled against the holder when I pulled open the curtains. God damn it, Olya.
Да я сразу понял, что это ты.
Yeah, it had to be her because we literally saw her feet. A blindingly bright halo lit up above Olya's head with the setting sun as the background. My sister was shining. When she was just a baby, Dad always used to say she was shining with happiness. I always retorted, but Dad, she's not some flashlight. But I brought her to the window one day and sunlight poured on her smiling face. I felt like I was holding a light, woven child.
А я все видела. Да ну. Что ты спрятал?
It's none of your business, little kid. She was just like my mom when she was little, before she put on her sad mask of tiredness and switched to her commanding tone of voice.
Ничего, просто...
Olya ran up to the table, her eyes round, and asked,
Ты что-то украл и теперь прячешь?
No, 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 I did not steal anything.
Что? Глупая. Ничего я не крал.
Exactly. Other than the phone number. The glove was free reign though, it was just in the forest. It was like, you cannot steal something that's like laying around. I mean, laying around in the random place that is not a store, obviously. A clear image came to mind, that mitten hanging from a tree branch. What if I did steal it after all? From the forest, from the tilted figure standing behind black trees. Well, then they should say, hey, leave it, that's mine. If they didn't say that, it's free reign. Olya could be selfish and stubborn when she wanted.
Покажи тогда. Поклянись, что никому не скажешь. Тогда покажу.
Olya wore a plotting smile.
Клянусь маминым сердцем.
Maybe your mom does not have a heart anymore, because right now I feel like she's possessed. An oath she heard in one of the movies about the pioneers we've watched. Pioneer movement, an umbrella term for communist children organizations existing around the world, somewhat reminiscent of the Scout movement. Okay.
Не говори так.
Olya nodded and made a gesture with her hand, locking her mouth with an imaginary key. She was filled with curiosity that was splashing in her giant eyes. I opened the drawer and Olya leaned in, holding her breath. It looked like there was not just a simple mitten, but some sort of exotic critter.
Это чья-то варежка?
She said that as if she couldn't understand what she saw.
Один мальчик потерял. И сам потерялся. Теперь понимаешь, как опасно гулять в лесу, особенно детям? Ему, наверное, там очень холодно.
Yeah, he probably is cold. Dead cold. I'm sorry.
Обязательно. Участковый по домам ходит, всем фотографию его показывает.
But it's nice that he lies to her like that. It's a kind lie. Olya traversed the room with care and pressed her tiny palms against the window. Actually, he's not lying because he has this kind of like imagination that he's going to find the guy, the boy, and everything will be happy-go-lucky, so...
А почему он по домам ходит, а не по лесу?
That's a good question, Olya.
Боится?
The question caught me off guard.
Милиционеры ничего не боятся.
Yeah, sure, yeah, definitely.
И лес они почесали.
Yeah, right, flashed in my clouded mind. Did they really check every nook and cranny where darkness crawled and whispers of icy branches dwell? If that's the case, how did they miss the mitten? Or did it appear later for me? I changed the topic, as if trying to get Olya as far away as possible from the forest thicket.
Если я сам найду пропавшего мальчика, нам, может, награду дадут. Кучу всякого, как в поле чудес. Клёво же.
Wait, we have something in glossary? Field of Wonders, a Soviet and Russian TV game show still running to this day, coming out every Friday. Can be described as a partially adapted version of Wheel of Fortune. Oh, then you see, we can, you know, we can watch it tomorrow then. Olya wasn't listening to me. She was piercing the forest with incredibly adult eyes, uncharacteristic for her.
Что, если эта сова его утащила? Ерунда. Не может сова поднять человека. Но вот что...
I was picking my words with utmost care. I forced them out of my overexerted brain.
Ты в лес не суйся. Мне кажется, он какой-то... Как бы сказать... Проклятый, что ли? Как в сказке? Нет, скорее, как на той страшной кассете, что родители прячут.
Spooky tape. Ooh. Olya shivered and stole a glance at the window.
Я видела, как ты...
I had no spooky tapes at all at my home. Mostly because my parents don't like horror movies, so I've never really had like this experience of watching something that I shouldn't. Really? Unless then we had like TV on and like I saw something on TV. Like I think I saw Seven when I was like 12 or so, and that was a traumatizing experience, but I actually really liked the movie. Not even Gypsy Thing, Squirrel, this little fucker is more like... Hi, Medic!
За тобой кто-то гнался? Нет, просто, чтобы мама не волновалась, спешил домой.
As I looked at my sister, my heart was tearing apart. She was so fragile. It was so easy to stifle her light. A gust of wind and her small fire would be gone.
Хорошо тебе. Меня вот мама не пускает даже на крыльцо. Как принцесса в башне сижу. Никуда не могу выйти.
That's interesting, because like, why can't she go to school?
Так и умру тут от скуки.
Suspicious.
Не придумывай.
Unless, well, you see... No, never mind. Although... Okay, maybe I'm going insane, but have you noticed that both of their parents have dark hair and they're both blonde? Do you think it's a little bit suspicious now that I think about it? Like, what if they abducted those kids or something. From like, it would be stupid because like apparently Anton does remember her being born, like Olya being born, so that would be kind of stupid. But that's weird. Maybe, I don't know. I don't know, but now I'm starting to see more and more of like more things don't add up. Although I guess like sometimes you can get like bright hair, blonde hair from your grandparents or something, so that's possible as well. So it's a very stretched out theory. But you know, how they don't want her to go out is very suspicious.
От скуки еще никто не умирал. У тебя же есть я и мультики, а мама с папой скоро помирятся.
Знаешь, что бы я загадала на следующий день рождения? Чтобы родители тоже в детей превратились, и мы бы все вместе играли, как раньше.
Yeah, sure. Mom and dad turning into children, that doesn't sound right.
А если бы они стали размером с жука, то мы бы их в спичечный коробок посадили.
Olya giggled and tugged at my sleeve.
Тоша, пойдем Аладдина смотреть.
Fatigue won over my desire to be with my little sister. I was washed over by some sort of heinous apathy.
Вымотался я. Что-то не хочется.
Ну пойдем. Мне скучно одной, а мама занята всё
I mean,
время.
she just watched Aladdin yesterday. How many times can she watch Aladdin?
Который ты еще не видел.
Unless she's watching like the TV series, which, you know, there are many different episodes, so...
Да я все наши кассеты наизусть знаю.
А вот и не все. Ты Питера Пэна не видел. Помнишь, ты уснул на середине?
Yeah, because Peter Pan is fucking boring.
Там потом такое. Ну пойдем.
I never liked Peter Pan movie. Like the Disney one.
Рассказать тебе, чем все закончилось?
You little shit, you want to spoil me?
Утром расскажешь.
Утром не захочу. Придумала. А давай в прятки.
Нет, Оль.
God damn it.
Тогда нарисуй мне динозавра.
Оля, блин.
Нарисуй.
Да оставь ты меня в покое!
Well, great. You yelled at your sister. Are you proud of yourself, Anton? I blurted it out without thinking, and then I was immediately taken aback. I'd never screamed at my little sister like that. Olya stared at me in shock. Her lips started trembling, a precursor to tears. My chest was seething with disgust and embarrassment. What's happening to me? I hurried to prevent Olya from crying.
Ладно, уболтала. Давай смотреть мультики.
That's another thing, you see, like, it's like their parents are already rotten inside, like they're very aggressive, they're very negative, like filled with negativity. And now Anton is also acting like that. It feels like maybe like the older you get, like there's some curse around them, like the more angry you get. But at the same time, it's like their parents weren't like that before, so that theory doesn't add up.
Уже не хочу.
I came up to her, put my hand on her soft head.
Пойдем. Питера Пэна посмотрим.
Ага, ты опять уснешь.
Oh no, we're going to watch something entirely different, girl. I smiled and lifted her chin. Her eyes were wet and felt bottomless.
Не усну, обещаю. А потом я тебе целого трицератопса нарисую.
That was easy.
Ну, почти.
Olya rubbed her eyes with a sleeve of her pajamas and the shining smile returned to her face.
Давай ты пока кассету перемотаешь, а я у мамы попрошу сгущенки с хлебом.
Okay.
Только утром свежий привезли, как ты любишь.
Неси.
Oh my god, fresh bread, bro.
Опять ругаться будут.
Спорим, не разолью. Кассета где-то в тумбочке. Поищи пока.
Also, like condensed milk on a bread, it sounds very Russian. I've never ate like that. Like, I had no such a sandwich. Olya disappeared into the doorway and I dragged my feet into the neighboring room. Okay, so we're in the neighboring room. It's... Okay, let's get in. Olya's countless toys. An old teddy bear is the main attraction here. Olya doesn't sleep without it. And she digs her nose into its fur when she sleeps. A piggy bank. Olya is saving money for a real puppy because Dad said that taking care of him will take a lot of money. Well, it's true. The scary window where Olya sees that cursed owl every night lurking in the dark. Olya keeps curtain open during the day, but as soon as the twilight comes, she shuts them tight so she wouldn't see the pair of hungry eyes outside. Okay, I think that was everything. Let's turn on the TV. The old photon TV was gathering dust in the corner. All that was left was clicking the button on the front panel. Oh. The noise, the white noise. The tube warmed up and familiar white noise started dancing on the black screen. I almost reached out to turn on the VCR when the noise calmed down and a blurry image appeared on a moment. For a moment. It was a dark taiga forest, just like one outside my window. The picture split the screen in half. Something creepy resembling human speech was coming out of the speaker. Just a few moments later, the scenery was again overshadowed by noise. Did it catch some rogue signal? Local TV station only really showed Soviet cartoons, and even that was pretty rare. And only just recently I used to always watch Robotech before school. It was so awesome. Maybe I should tinker with the antenna? What if I catch this channel again? On the other hand, Olya had asked me to find a tape. It wouldn't be nice to disappoint her. But in my sleepy state, I didn't have the strength to do all of that. Okay, so... I don't remember how it was. Let me check real quick because I don't want to make a mistake in here. I don't want to make a mistake in here, and because I'm gonna tell you one option definitely gives you something more interesting. The other option is just watching Peter Pan. It's boring. We don't want that. Man, where was that? I think we were supposed to set it. Wait, let me save. Let me save. Oh god, there are so many. It's number 1. Okay, let me save here, okay? Okay. I think we're supposed to set. I think. The picture finally cleared up. Yeah, that's what we wanted to do. But the moment I rejoiced at finding that weird signal again, the TV started coughing, a voice barely coming through the cacophony. Small snowy hills were lined up on the screen, pierced with rickety crosses, and the male voice was narrating with a slow mourning voice. So we have another child that went missing with the name of Senya. And I think the mole is quite important if we ever see someone's face with a mole. Maybe. I don't know from when this thing is, but maybe recent. The Forest Master. That's absolutely insane. This is something that when I played for the first time, we didn't do that on stream. And I was like, god damn it, when I was playing that alone, I was like, god damn it, it's like an interesting part of the lore. I froze and did my best not to move, as if by doing that I could scare away the narrator. I listened closely to his every word. The camera panned across the snow with something black spilled over it, looking for ragged pieces of cloth that were thrown around all over the place. I didn't want to think whether Senya's remains were wrapped in there, so I shut my eyes without thinking. The voice continued.
Здесь редкие гости. Вот что поведала нам баба Тамара, обитательница одного из местных склепов.
Close-up shot of the face of an old homeless woman, weary from life and alcohol abuse, rattled on the screen. Jesus Christ. The old woman splattered saliva all over the rectangular mic. Here he is. The rest of her comparison was swallowed up by the sound of a horn. Wait a moment. Well, I don't know. I didn't invite any guests, so I'm not letting anyone in today. Okay, so obscenities were covered by another beep. This is why you should not drink or smoke, because this is how your voice will end up sounding, you know? You don't want that. Or maybe you're too old for him. Just saying.
Что правда, то правда. Опустившимися до звериного образа жизни хищник брезгует, предпочитая детскую невинную кровь. Теперь все чаще хозяина леса видят в поселениях на периферии нашей родины.
Torn between believing in what was said and shrugging it away, I decided to record the remaining part of the documentary for some reason. I quickly grabbed the tape that was on top of the TV and put it on into the VCR without even looking at the cover. I pressed rec, turned the sound up, and paid attention to the sleeping signal.
Хозяином леса его прозвали не просто так. Ему подчиняются все звери, пернатые и лохматые. Они предвестники появления самого чудовища. Если слышите вой вдалеке, то, скорее всего, он знает, где вы живете. Если порог дома истоптан звериными следами, а за окном караулят птицы, прячьтесь, он уже идет за вами. А если однажды ночью, проснувшись, вы увидите глаза в окне, то скоро.
Am I doing something wrong? Jesus Christ! I hate it! Fucking forced mustard! The TV suddenly went mad and looped the last word over and over, piercing my eyes. I got goosebumps all over my spine. The tape ended and was rewinding to the beginning. The sound of rusting tape reminded me of leaves in the wind and the low howl of the beast. I woke up from my stopper and pressed the button. The VCR ejected the tape for a moment. I thought it was stained with saliva. But that was just the light from the chandelier making the black plastic look glossy. Thanks, you're welcome, Llama. You're very much welcome. Hi, Fortune. And then I saw the cover. Peter Pan. Oops, I recorded it over Peter Pan. That's what I get for hurrying. It was bad enough that I ruined Olia's cartoon, but I also put this creepy stuff over it. I can't let her see this. We'll drown in tears. I snuck a glance at the door. I could hear the clatter of glass and the squeaky floorboards. Olia appeared in the doorway. No, not at all. My sister brought the tray with unevenly cut bread and a whole can of condensed milk.
Нет. Я пока кассету ищу. А ты точно хочешь Питера Пэна смотреть?
Хочу, хочу!
Well, it's too late. Peter Pan is long gone, girl.
Включай скорее, а то мама скоро сядет свой бразильский сериал смотреть.
Brazilian dramas, let's go. Come on, think, fake detective.
Честно, мне как-то Питер Пэн совсем не понравился. Может, лучше русалочку?
Русалочку я уже насмотрелась. А ты обещал.
She's still stubborn.
Придумал. Давай сначала пару серий черепашек-ниндзя. Согласна?
Olia frowned but ultimately gave up. She put down the tray and crossed her hands on her chest.
Если так сильно просишь, откроешь сгущенку. Порезаться.
It's already opened there. Oh, well. I don't know. She's like, open it and like, lift the lid probably. As soon as I stood up, colorful dots popped up before my eyes and my sore legs were pierced by thousands of needles. Only when I reached the sofa, I realized that the can was already open. Olga had tricked me, played me for a fool. My stomach became heavy. I wanted to rush toward the TV, but my little sister was faster. She picked up the remote and proclaimed in victorious tone.
Повелся, повелся!
God damn it, she's smart! Hello, TD.
Владычица пульта приказывает смотреть Питера Пэна!
You don't want to watch the tape, girl! I couldn't even open my mouth and the VCR had already eaten the accursed tape. She'll play it, and then black crosses on unnamed graves, empty crypts, bloody scraps on the snow, and the insane devil's wench. I ordered cardigan on Vinted, commented that item is great, and now I've got message that I am a lovely lady. Aw, how cute! How cute! Better tell the truth.
Оля, стой! Я тебе конец кассеты нечаянно стер. Отдай ее мне и возьми любые две мои.
Ты чего? Не мог ты стереть? Мы с папой всем кассетам зубики пластмассовые выломали. Отверткой. Теперь ни на один мой мультфильм ничего записать нельзя.
Damn, that's... Is it real? Like, that's what you did to not over-record anything on the tape? I don't know, because, like, my parents never recorded anything, really. My little sister pressed the triangular play button on the remote. I squeezed on the inside, awaiting the out of this word voice of the narrator. But I saw the duel between Peter Pan and Captain Hook instead. I sighed in relief, my head heavy as a leaden ball now rested in my hands. Oldia smiled in joy. She put the tape on rewind and started spreading milk over her bread. And when the cartoon started, she forgot about everything in the world. As if she really got transported to the Neverland, like she always wished. To be honest, I also imagined myself there, in a land where one never ages, where no one argues over little things, where no one listens to fights and the sound of broken plates at night. The fun thing is, like, the usage of Peter Pan as a movie here, specifically, obviously, like, we had an Aladdin mentioned, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles mentioned, all these cartoons, but playing Peter Pan right now when it's like the story about kids and like this whole theme of not wanting to grow up, this is something that's like so well fitting. It's like they did it on purpose for sure. But now Peter Pan's land was especially far away from me. My thoughts dragged on, stumbled upon the horned beast that awaited me among the trees, and the narrator's mournful voice haunted me, sliding over bushes and ravenous, like a winged carnivore would truck its prey. It felt like I was dreaming with my eyes still open, and my sister's scream pulled me back to reality.
Тоша, скорее, штору задерни!
Okay, okay.
Зачем? Никто же на тебя не смотрит.
Уже темно, а когда темнеет, прилетает сова. Я боюсь.
I got out of bed, fighting my drowsiness, and closed the curtains. Yeah, I think we have nothing else to do here. Hopefully. Hopefully I'm not going to, like, miss out on anything important, because this gameplay I really want to have, like, as good as possible, but I think that's it. We're just going to close. I did my best not to look outside, toward the treetops, toward the taiga forest, which seemingly drew closer and closer. Of course, it was just a visual effect from shadows or of branches scraping the snow.
Тоша, мама думает, что я напридумывала про сову. И папа считает, думает, что раз я маленькая, это значит врушка. А сова есть. Вот честная-пречестная, есть она.
Okay.
Ты же мне веришь,
I mean, it's hard not to believe her.
что она там каждую ночь прилетает и...
Swiftly grabbed Olya's hand and looked her in the eyes. I was trying to transfer at least some of my courage and determination. But did I really have those qualities?
Я тебе верю, слышишь? Ты только родителям больше не рассказывай про сову. У них и так хлопот по горло, они только рассердятся. Ты мне говори, если что случится. И в окно не смотри.
Но она хочет, чтобы я смотрела.
Перехочет. Притворись, что ее нет и не было никогда, что она выдумка, как родители говорят. Ей ждать надоест, она улетит.
Yeah, I mean, how long can you like fly, like sit in front of kids' window? I actually do not answer me that. I'm pretty sure there are some psychos who would not mind doing it for hours. Ugh. Just thinking about it, it's like, ew, disgusting. We followed Peter Pan's adventures as if nothing had happened, as if the forest didn't kidnap kids, as if our parents weren't tearing each other apart bit by bit. Captain Hook was running away from a crocodile and Captain Pan was headed to London on a glided sailboat. By some miracle, I lasted longer than my little sister. Olya's eyelids had dropped. She started snoring lightly, resting her chin on the side of the bed. The chorus was singing the ending song. The world of Disney was lit up by a silvery moon. Another moon peeked from under the first one, scary and one hanging over the taiga forest. The horrific report got recorded right over the credits. My throat went dry, my pulse became faster. I looked toward Olya. She smacked her lips in her sleep. I squeezed the remote with all my might, ready to press stop in a moment. I rewound the recording, checked if it was intact, and then carefully took out the tape. The protective pin was still in place. I stood up and left Olya's room. So we managed to get it recorded, but not at the end of the story. It's at the end of, you know, the credits, as the credits roll. Whether it was by providence or by curse, I hit the tape alongside the mitten and the exact moment Mom peeked into my room.
Довольно баловства. Завтра первый день в школе. Ложись, тебе надо выспаться. Не хочешь же ты, чтобы тебя все дразнили Соней?
Oh, I think they're going to tease me about my glasses, not about being sleepy, so... Adults think everything is so simple. As if sound sleep would ensure my classmates would like me. Exactly. I covered myself with a blanket up to my neck and listened to the house humming, to something invisible rustling in the corners. My inner voice had a question for me. Do I want to hear that mysterious flute again? Yes or no? Maybe it's just a part of growing up and I can't fully understand my own desires. The forest wailed behind the barrier. That was my walls. Some ethereal entity wandered the fields. Branches shook as if calling for me. The wind howled on and on in the night. My thoughts were like annoying flies that entered my head before becoming weak and tangled. I didn't notice how I fell into slumber. It has come after all. The day I feared the most. The first day of a new school term. And this is the end of episode 1. So what I'm thinking is to maybe finish this stream here, save it here, so every stream will be one episode. I know later episodes are a little bit longer, but I think that way it will be like more fun, so every stream is one episode, especially when we have like 5 episodes in total. So I think that would make sense, and also this way I can like somehow gather my thoughts around what we played through and what kind of like theory of what's happening feels like the most sensible one after every single episode. What are we thinking? Okay, I'm glad at least you Lama agree. So far I think the first episode is mostly around I feel like it's mostly showing us that it's kids' trauma, because we only see things through the kids, like these supernatural things, and then we know about the pills that somehow make Anton feel drowsy, and then after taking this pill he sees the thing on the TV. Sure, in his eyes it's recorded, but in his eyes the glove was also covered in blood, but that's something that he imagined, right? So we don't really clearly know. After episode 1 I was like almost sure, I think, that it's all about like the trauma and him being depressed kid, having to go onto antidepressants very early on, and like struggling with anxiety and everything, and that's put up. I think episode 1 is basically that. But is it that, or is it just a red herring? Because right now we also have this recording, which we don't know if Anton just imagined it because he's the only person who saw that, or is it a real documentary about something happening and there is someone, some creature, or maybe it's not a creature, maybe it's something more realistic, like a real ass man going after those kids for some unknown reason. So a lot of thoughts around it. Time for school. Yeah, next time it's time for school, and the school is an adventure on its own. We have a lot of very ironically enough colorful characters, ironically because the whole game is black and white. So let me just click continue, save the game, and so we can move forward. So it will be the second save in here. Okay, I'll remember that. So let's go to the main menu, and yes, I saved the progress. That was it. I hope you enjoyed this, and we'll continue. Unfortunately not the next Thursday because I won't be next Thursday at home, but I want to make it Thursday series so you won't get confused when it's going to be played. As this series specifically, next Monday we're playing Kingdom Hearts. We're continuing the grind, mostly in the Coliseum. I don't know if there will be more streams, but if there will be more streams, they will most definitely be me working on commissions, just like I was doing that twice this week. So you can eventually expect that, but it will be very spontaneous. I cannot even promise you at what day it will be and at what hour. So don't mind if you if you won't see that. I'm pretty sure it's going to be just somewhere out there if I will be able to do it. And Tiny Bunny will return in 2 weeks. I'm going to set up the stream right after this one, so you will know. Click the ring bell thingy so you will be notified. Maybe if YouTube will like you to be notified, because you know how YouTube notification works or don't work. And that was it from me this week. Tomorrow and during the weekend I'll try my best to make some shorts so you can have something every day. And yeah, that's it for this week. See you on Monday if you're willing to come, or if you can come. For now, bye bye!